usually.
Lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. I don't. That's
fast forward to the
only part that everybody likes.
I can feel it. Season 2 is back tonight.
I thought you were gonna say back again.
Back again.
Oh Lord.
Everybody, that song that you heard right now, that's not a lie. That's so stupid.
There's no way to fuck this up.
It is true. We are back. I'm already looking at the camera again.
I was avoiding looking at the camera.
Don't look at the camera. Camera Chris is here in the building with us.
We
right
had
now.
that talk. We had that talk a while ago where we argued about whether looking into it matters or not.
Okay, so I think it's okay a little bit. Podcast listeners.
I mean, we're already looking into it, so let it rock, baby.
Let it rock, people. We are here. We are back with episode 2.7. Yes, it is still season 2. A year later, year and a half later.
The only podcast / YouTube channel that takes a year off and kept a save season, baby.
Definitely. And before we get started, of course, like every episode, we're brought to you with Bay Area own Campana Sound.
Campana Sound. Campana
The reason that those drums right there sounded so deep and hearty is because of Campana Sound right there. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And also, we got someone to my left that's been a beautiful, beautiful confidant. That's a word, right?
That is a word, yes.
Every
episode.
I got some notes here about this person to my left. He's the HBO to my True Detective. He's the R2D2 to my C3PO.
That's a good one.
He's the person who listens to me rant and utter about a lot of bullshit sometimes.
A lot of stuff.
There's
been a couple times I come home from work and it's just Gabriel, just an hour of Gabriel just talking about whatever.
They're like, yo, Vig, check this out. And then sometimes I'm just a complete opposite.
Yeah, there's times where I talk a lot and I'm surprised.
I think I just heard someone's phone go off on set right now. Is that camera Chris?
Oh, I thought it was.
I'm sorry.
Is that Chris?
Fuck it. I'm trying to get sentimental with my technician.
Right in the middle of my one speech. Yeah. I have nothing to show for this.
It's probably someone texted him like fuck technician Vic.
I knew he was talking right now.
You know what? Let's ignore the haters like people say. It's the best technician that I always love. Half robot, half fucking love person. So beautiful guy right here. So yeah, we're happy to be back once again.
Whoa. I take my pause.
Okay.
It's Technician Vic.
Technician Vic. Everybody.
Who does this pose? Somebody does that.
I don't know.
I got a lot of applause that time. I like that.
But yeah, of course, this is your main cool guy, the coolest guy you know.
The host with the most.
Gabe, aka always oneself.
AKA.
We got one applause. Let's keep it there.
We had a little premature clapulation on that one.
He's just smiling. Camera Chris is just smiling behind the camera.
Beautiful.
Sweetheart.
Look at that. Great smile. You'll never see it, though. You guys never see it.
I remember that one episode a couple years ago, probably 3 years ago.
Yeah, blood. It's been that long. I was going to say, we were doing this for that long.
The last episode from 3 years ago. No, I remember we were talking about Chris's smile because it's just so angelic.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you got a great smile. Look at that. Look at him cheesing over there. Look.
This episode is brought to you by Camera Chris's smile.
Yeah,
and
it's got that Colgate smile.
Mm-hmm. Ding.
Look at that. You don't got a Colgate haircut though. You got.
Sorry, I hit the mic. Everybody, of course, we're happy to be back. Once again, it's, as you guys know, there's a little virus on Earth, a little small one, a little itsy bitsy spider of a virus. But life's ups and downs. We're back.
Yeah, we made it through the wilderness. We made it through.
Yeah, and I mean, quick updates. I mean, of course, we've been same thing like you guys, pretty fucking boring.
Been healthy. That's always a plus. None of us have caught COVID.
Yeah, you guys could probably hear it in my voice a little bit right now. I'm kind of recovering from a little cold. Do I sound a little nasally?
Yeah, you can hear
a little
it.
bit.
You sound like you have like phlegm in your throat.
Maybe people thought I went through puberty finally.
No, none of us thought that. Not even people at home watching.
Besides fucking boring stuff. We got haircuts. That's pretty cool. Our boy Paulie hooked us up with some haircuts.
Up and down, baby. Look at this.
Actually, do I have to bleep that?
Why?
Am I supposed to say Paulie gives us haircuts?
I don't see why not.
Oh, okay.
I mean, everybody's gonna. He said every time people ask me, I just tell them no, anyways.
Okay, for sure.
My Lord Farquaad going
In the room as well as we got intern Jess.
Intern Jess, let's give it up.
Intern Jess. One day she'll be able to get on a paid salary.
Yeah.
Until then, she works for free.
Free 99.
But of course, just same old boring shit. Just trying to survive COVID and stay sane. And I'm sure, as you guys know at home, life's been a little weird and different. And I guess I don't want to dwell on that part too much. But one of the things that had happened within this last year, which is really weird, I got into fucking Cal. UC Cal. That's fucking crazy. Like
UC Cal, UC Berkeley,
UC Berkeley,
UC California, Berkeley Cal.
It's a weird feeling.
And I don't want to detract from that, but I've obviously grew up with Gabriel, and if somebody would have told me one day that Gabriel was going to Cal, I would not because I don't think he's intelligent. The kid's very intelligent, but he just never gave a fuck about school, and now the kid goes to Cal.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, just to let you guys know, the little story how it happened. It was 1 a.m. I was in the living room sitting over here, even though this is also our set. I was actually on the set, not in the living room. I was on set.
Yeah, because the people who watched it at home were like, wow, they have a whole set dedicated to this.
You don't know, we could have fans in fucking, I don't know, Brazil or something.
Ireland.
Ireland. Shout out to all the Irish. Yeah, sorry everybody listening. We just had a little malfunction error. But anyway, yeah, so when it came to Cal for how I got accepted and realizing that I did, I actually came into the living room. To be honest, I didn't come in here to search myself sexually or anything like that. I actually came in here because I needed to pass some gas.
That's a very classy way to say it.
Thank you. And I came in here to pass gas. And I checked my emails. It was 1 a.m. It was like Friday or Saturday. And then I open up the email, and then like confetti comes out of it. I don't know. They probably have like a little animation.
On the email?
Yeah. And I was like, congratulations.
That's fucking fresh.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I actually did it. And to give you guys even a little bit more backstory, I remember when I filled out my application for Cal, I was a little like, I didn't want to do it. I did the last day it was due, the day of.
I remember that. He was,
intern Jess's brother was visiting at the time. And then, so in my head, I was like, I got family over. I'm like, I don't want to fucking work on this shit. Yeah, it was,
Eddie was over?
Intern Jess's brother was over. And then,
I didn't know that.
Just sorry, guys, a little technician issue. Damn it. Sorry, listeners, trying to remember something for the program. Again, we had a little malfunction there. But anyway, so I didn't want to do the application because I didn't realize it was so fucking rigorous. It takes like it took me the whole fucking day. And then I learned later on that people hire people to help them out. Or like, you go talk to specific people.
I'd also like to point out, if he would have just started it earlier, then...
Yeah, I shouldn't have waited the last minute.
Yeah, motherfucker wait till like the last day.
There's you get 8 questions to choose from. You have to do 4 though. And then, so 4 of those, you have 1 that you're obligated to answer, then 3 that, you could choose from. Sorry, I think I said 4 you could choose from. It's 3 out of the 8, and 1's you have to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they're about a page each. Intern Jess, she works for free, so I had her come check it. And she checked it. Evidently, she did a good job.
Because your boy got in. Evidently, she did a good job. Yeah, she must have.
Yeah, and weird feeling like, of course, COVID quarantine this whole year. So I did a whole year at Berkeley off camera. I'm sure it sounds like I'm lying because I wasn't able to share it on the podcast. But no, it's true. I'm at fucking Berkeley right now. I'm a senior now.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. I actually had to be reminded of that. The kid, like, you're a senior, dude, at Berkeley. You made it through a whole year at Berkeley. But did it seem more difficult than like regular schooling for you, in your opinion?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Like, Vic knows because I bitched to him about shit. My style of learning, maybe people are familiar, like learning falls into kind of like 3 different categories. Is visual, auditory, and then kinesthetic. I say that right, intern Jess?
Kinesthetic, yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you. Kinesthetic. And visually, obviously, you learn on whiteboards and shit, or, your eyes reading, auditory through listening, hearing, podcasts, lectures. But then kinesthetics more like hands-on interaction, kind of even a way too, like a little bit more like fun with it.
Because you gotta think too, like I'm sure the kinesiology is like the study of like the body.
Oh, okay.
So kinesthetics is probably like you have to be like in it, like you have to be around it, part of it.
Yeah, even like so when I was going back to community college, like one of my things that helped was just like interacting with classmates and making sure I'm like writing notes physically and asking questions, like not being passive, like being more hands-on with it for sure helped. And so with all that said, like class online this whole year, everyone that's had this last year online, whether high school or in college, community college, UCs, state colleges, it don't matter. Like that shit was fucking hard. It was very difficult, Like technician Vic is here because he handles the technician side, because sometimes I'm not the best at that, and being able you have to like fucking maneuver through bulletin course, whatever the fuck it's called.
Blackboard,
like the online whatever program it's called.
Blackboard, but it's the same shit.
Super messy, and then I'm not trying to talk shit about Cal or anything like that. No one could have prepared for a fucking pandemic and shit.
Yeah, especially I'm sure you went from all in person, especially like I think also being, not that you're hella old, but towards the older end, like having to do a bunch of like fucking non in the classroom after all these years.
Yeah.
Classroom. It's a hard transition.
It was for sure tough. Like, oh my gosh. And then, dealing with pandemic. And then, oh my gosh, y'all remember this? A little side note, but remember orange? Like the day everything was orange? Yeah, that's so scary. You remember that? Everything was orange outside.
Oh, the fire? Yeah. That shit was dope. I mean, it was scary because of the fire, but like, I remember being at work because I work at like 3 a.m. It was like 6 a.m, and we just looked outside. I was like, looks like the apocalypse. Like, this is what the end of the world looks like.
Fucking freaky. So, you always have things like that
all
popping
about
up.
That day. Good
I
shit.
wish we would have took a photo. Camera Chris, did you take a photo that day? Like in the right, because you can show your grandkids that one day. I think I
have it on my Instagram. I put it on my story. I think like the sky was hella orange. Yeah.
Oh, loser!
Oh, my name's Chris. I don't live in the Bay Area anymore.
Yeah, I guess Orange Day was only in the Bay Area, so we're kind of cool to have that and stuff. But that happened. So imagine like that's going on, other shit's going on. You're trying to do school. I'm not trying to bitch and shit, but it was definitely for me an uphill battle. And why did that make you laugh?
Because it's like, I think despite like all the positive stuff, you're just like, that shit was tough, boy. It was an uphill battle.
It was. I mean, I could go on. Maybe we'll get more in depth on it in another episode, or whoever has questions and shit. But I will say, I want to get in specific on this. I did have not survivor's guilt. What's it called? Imposter syndrome, which survivor's guilt like that.
That's what I'm laughing about. You said survivor's guilt and imposter syndrome.
Nah.
Like there's no link between those where I can be like, okay, I get it.
I had imposter syndrome. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's pretty much like when you get into a position and you feel like unqualified, and you're kind of like,
is that when a doppelganger takes your spot?
Yeah, and fucking Ray Briel took my spot. I'm like, fuck you. Nah, but it's like, you're like, how did I get here? I don't deserve this. You're like, they must have made a mistake. Intern Jess was able to talk to me about stuff like that. She's like, you're there for a reason. She's just trying to get that check. What I'm saying? Like, it ain't coming anytime soon.
Don't get your hopes up, player.
Yeah, but some imposter syndrome was prevalent. First semester, oh my gosh, I went through it mentally. It was a little tough. Second semester, though, I had a better idea how to kind of attack it. My plan that time for that semester was, my old tactic was float halfway through near the end, sprint. But now it was sprint at the beginning, then halfway through the end, float.
And then we have to be honest, you're kind of floated there.
Float for a while.
You floated a little,
but I got decent grades. I think I got
did?
the second semester. I got I don't even remember anymore.
I don't
Maybe a
remember
few
it.
B's in the C.
Yeah,
few
I don't
B's
think
in the
you
C.
failed anything. You didn't get a D or anything.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, you guys, I'm working while doing it too. So like, I'm pretty proud of myself. It feels cool. Like, one more year, it'll be in person, so it'll be another thing to tackle.
Oh, fuck. You're right, huh?
So it's gonna be a whole new thing. And
damn.
One thing I'll start doing though, I want to like set up a little sign. I think I might have told you this before. You know, one of those little fold out signs like this.
Yeah.
And then like have it right across the street from Cal. Have like, I don't know, like stickers for the podcast. And just like, you know, my little sign will say something. And just everyone that walks by, you know, check it out. Because I think a lot of people would vibe with the show.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's easy marketing.
Talk about some real shit. And then I think people, you know.
It's great. That's a good idea.
The campus kind of promotes that type of vibe. You know,
can I just like, what if I just chased people and I was like, listen to this, listen.
A lot of people got that vibe there too.
Yeah,
crazy,
that's what I'm going
people.
for, dude. I'm trying to do.
You should like dress
underground
up.
Marketing.
We need like an unusually usual character, like a mascot, and you could like just, hey, I'm the character.
Oh, crazy Larry. Let's take some stickers.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah,
that's genius.
So got in the Cal, one more year. Another big thing that happened, our grandpa passed away. Yeah, grandpa passed
away.
But to get into that, I mean, I'm laughing.
Yeah, I don't know how to talk about this either without
sounding insensitive.
I mean, we're gonna sound insensitive no matter what. So I think
that's the point of the show, though. You know what I'm saying?
Careful. I think
we gotta be real.
You could be real, but we also have to, you know.
Sometimes situations in life are awkward. Yeah. You know, they ain't got no Pixar movie about what happens when your grandpa dies and you don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's like reverse Coco. That's it. Like, what if like Coco like died and then the little kid was like, she was a bitch. Yeah. It was like it's a 2-minute movie.
Like, it had to be one of those little shorts.
Tu abuelita, and he's like,
he just goes outside.
And that was it. That was crazy.
It'd be like the little dumpling short. You know, the little shorts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that was Bow.
Yeah, thank you.
But this one's gonna
Technician
be called
Vic.
Wow.
My
grandma died. That sucks. And then you walk out.
So we got grandma, my mom's mom over here. You know, we got some of her ashes.
Got her ashes over there.
You know, we love grandma.
Grandma, she was a handful, but she was a grandma.
Present, the other grandpa. If we, you know, we probably really wouldn't want his ashes.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. That's, you know,
it's kind of That's
I guess some shit we should talk about.
That's a good place to start.
Awkward pause. It's like, how do we tackle the situation?
Once again,
but it's worth talking about because I'm sure there's other folks like this. You know, got a family member, but it ain't really.
I'm sure somebody out there listening to this has an estranged grandparent, and I don't ever feel like you have to be. I think the word is espoused. Like, don't feel like you have to be attached to them just because they're family. It doesn't.
Or even if someone like a family member, you could have been close to somebody. Maybe they wronged you or they changed. And you feel like you still got to be like around them because they're blood, quote unquote.
You know, there's no.
Okay, so getting into it, it was like any other day, a weekday. Dad calls us. He's like, "Yo," he doesn't say "yo," but he's like, "Yo, like my dad's passing, your grandpa's passing. You guys should come to the hospital." Keep in mind, though, we've only met our grandfather maybe twice.
Nah, we
3 times, 4 times.
I think I remember more when I think I was in kindergarten. Dad still had the silver truck. We would go pick him up every Wednesday and take him to lunch.
Really? So how many times have we?
We've met him a handful of times.
You were in kindergarten?
I was in like kindergarten.
So I'm like 2.
Yeah, you must have been like 2 or 3.
Okay.
But I remember those times. Grandpa was still.
So you had a good relationship with him.
Yeah,
so.
dude, he was the best grandpa. He like showed up. He remembered my name. It's the same as my dad's. It's hard to forget. Yeah. Yo, one story about grandpa. His sister passed away, and my dad. We went to the funerals. My tia Sylvia, and then Dad was like, "Hey, go say hi to your grandpa." And I did the like awkward, like, I don't want to go say hi to him. And Dad was like, you got to show your respect. So I walked up. You remember that? We walked up to him, and he's just sitting on the couch by himself, and he goes, I go, "Hey." He's like, "Hey, are you Brian?" And I'm like, "No, I'm Victor. I'm your grandson." And he's like, "Oh, what's up?" And that was it. And I looked at Gabe, and Gabe looked at me. We turned around and walked away. And I was like, easy peasy, baby.
Yeah, so we get the call from Dad that day. He's like, "Hey, again, your grandfather's passing. You guys should come." So we're like, okay. And then, another cousin of ours, he's been on the show before, Diego. That's his grandfather as well. So we all went over there to the hospital, and we were present with him when he passed. It wasn't because of COVID. It was just health complications. He was older.
He was older, and I don't think he took care of himself.
Yeah, but now to get into like why it feels weird. Oh gosh, I'm just gonna use my real words. He's kind of an asshole. He's just a fucking
he was
dick.
he was kind of an asshole, dude.
To say the least. He was a neglectful parent.
No way around it, guys.
Yeah, he's a neglectful parent to our parent.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his vices.
Mm.
And I'm being polite about this. And then, so he wasn't really around for our dad, at first, yeah. And then, my dad got a little bit older and kind of faded more and more.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have our dad on an episode and he can get into it maybe a little bit more specific than we can.
Yeah.
But even as an adult, our dad had reached out to him numerous times just to kind of reestablish the connection. And he just
didn't give a shit.
He told him straight up, like, I don't really want that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't. Thanks for trying. And Dad, I think I felt bad because like Dad wanted that connection, and I don't think Grandpa did, which is weird because it's usually like I feel like the parents are usually I want like, hey, we need to try and the kid's like, fuck you wronged me, and Dad was like, hey, you were kind of an asshole, but I still want to reach out. And Grandpa was like, nah, I'm good, dude.
I'm fine.
You did, I'm good.
And then the weird part too, so at the hospital, our grandfather had remarried, and that side of the family was there, and they loved the guy, I guess.
They were like crying. And one of my dad's, I guess, stepsister was like, he'd be so happy you guys were here. And me and Gabriel and Diego were like, this motherfucker, dude, he would not care if we were here or not. And she was just like, he's so happy. And we're just like, nah, he wouldn't give a shit if we were here or not.
And I think I laugh a lot about this because it's just like, it's like a HBO sitcom or something. It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something.
Strange scenario,
like yeah. And it's just kind of so silly. Like, it's so
like,
weird.
Just like, she was like, my kids, they want to see him before like he passes. And me and Gabe and Diego were like, yo, like, this is weird. Crying, they're standing around crying. I was thinking like, they think we're assholes probably. They're like, Grandpa was the nicest dude we've ever met. Those motherfuckers don't even care about him.
Yeah, we even debated about going, and and we kind of figured let's support our parents.
Yeah, I went to support Dad. I don't like. That was 100% the only reason. Even Gabriel texted me like after my dad called me, should we go? And I was like, I just want to be there because I know it might be important to Dad. Like if Dad was, hey, I'm gonna stay in Stockton. Do you guys want to go? I'll be like, nah, I'm good, dude.
Yeah, he maybe 20-25 minute drive, and then even our dad, he said he thought about going or not, but his cousin, our aunt, she told him like, no, you should go. Yeah. You should go, even though you don't really feel for the guy.
I do think it was important anyway. I do think that was a good cathartic moment for him to be able to kind of let it go as he passed.
Our dad's the type of guy who, how do I say, like, I don't think he's worked through too many things, not in a rude way, that's life sometimes, but he did seem to really be at peace with his father passing, which was good to see. It didn't feel like forced or anything, or he was pretending. He's just like, I get it.
Yeah,
he knew he tried at least.
Yeah, he was very somber. Like he wasn't sad. Like a regular. If one of our parents passed away tomorrow, like I'd be devastated. But he was just. He came to peace with it, and was very, like Gabriel said, Dad hasn't worked through a lot of, I think, trauma or issues. And one of the things that it was cool to see was just him be like, hey, I did my best and I have to be at peace with it. And it was very interesting to see for him. So
if anybody at home got a family member that fucking passed away or something crazy happened to them and you're kind of just indifferent about it, you ain't the only one.
Yeah, that's A-okay, I think what's important is to, like, don't have any unfueled feelings for this person. Like if you can mourn the relationship you had.
I will say with all that said too, I mean, and honestly, like we never knew any of our grandpas. We met our mom's dad one time.
Yeah, we only met him once.
He's from Tennessee, and I will say I wish we would have knew our grandpas. Like that would have been kind of cool. Like
I remember Grandpa George seemed cool. I remember meeting him. He brought me a toy truck.
He brought me, I think, like a toy car, like an electric one.
Yeah, he got me an ambulance truck.
So, like, people usually have really good relationships with their grandparents. And I think, go ahead.
I was gonna say I do appreciate Jessica, her grandpa. I remember all the times that I saw Theo Gustavo. I always felt like that patronly feeling, like, oh, this is what like a normal grandpa is supposed to feel like. He just seemed like a cool, wise old dude, and I was like, oh, I really like that feeling. And then the funniest part is grandpa's brother.
Oh yeah, our grandfather's brother.
Our grandpa's brother, our Uncle John, like we always called him Grandpa growing up because he was very like fatherly to my dad and to us. It was
Yeah, and he's a nice guy, humble, and
great dude, yeah.
kind of like the complete opposite of our grandfather. I don't know, like
So that's
he got all the sweet genes.
yeah. I always figured, I was like, so those two are what I feel like the grandpas that we should have had, but this is what it's supposed to feel like.
I don't really like Insert Injustice grandpa.
You did like him?
No, fucking right. I said I didn't.
Oh, that's what I figured. I was like, you said you never liked him. That's fucked up. Theo
Nah,
Gustavo's
Theo Gustavo was a kind
hella
guy.
cool.
Very,
Yeah,
very
super
cool,
great
down to
guy.
earth. Oh, she's threatening us right now. But moving along, I don't know if you guys, listeners at home, you're now in the gossip report.
fuck.
You're in the mix.
Oh, we need the gunshots too, like Joe Budden podcast.
Oh, and but our grandfather wasn't the only one in the hospital, believe it or not. Victor was also in the hospital.
Story time. So it was a few months ago. I looking into the camera now, and I don't like doing that. It was a few months ago. I was hanging out with some friends. I got a little overly inebriated. That's drunk for all the people out there who don't use big words. And I was driving. And I crashed my car. I don't know how I crashed my car. I think I fell asleep. I also might have been looking at my phone. I just remember my memory starts like as I crash. Like I remember looking at my phone and looking up and then crashing. That's kind of where my memory starts. And then some people pulled over. One of the two cars pulled over. One of the dudes in the car was like, hey, are you all right? I said, yeah, I'm cool. I was not cool.
Wait, and describe the car too.
I didn't know what my car looked like.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what my car looked like till the day we picked it up after the tow truck. All I know was I hopped out of the passenger side because I knew cars were coming this way. So I hopped out of the passenger side because
Do you remember what you hit?
I hit the center divider.
Do you remember that at the time or?
Yeah. Like as soon as I jump out of the passenger seat, my everything comes to light.
Okay.
So one of the guys like, hey, I'm a paramedic. Like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I was not okay. And it gets worse later. But at the time, like I just crashed my car. So I was like, yeah, everything, it hurts, but I also was in a car accident. So, I take the bumps and the bruises. And then he said, I know you're drunk right now. Cops are going to come. They're going to ask you questions. If you could play it off, play it off. And I said, okay. And then the cops came and they stopped traffic. And I remember looking and they had to do the thing where they stopped traffic. They did like the Robin thingy. And I remember looking and going, damn, that's a lot of traffic just because my dumb ass crashed. And I walk, and then I'm talking to the cops. And they're asking me, hey, what happened? So I'm like, I just lost control of my car, and I crashed into the center divider. And then they're all like, that's all that happened? I said, that's all that happened. My car crashed. I just lost control of it. And then they're like, okay, so we have to do the sobriety test. And I remember thinking at the time, I know I'm drunk, and I know I shouldn't be drunk, but I was also in a pretty bad car accident right now. I really wish they gave me like a little bit of a second to I had the jitters because I had just been in a fairly bad car accident. So they did the field sobriety test. I was supposed to do the toe thing. I think I did the toe thing. I don't remember the second test. I'm pretty sure there was two tests. I don't remember the second test. And then they're all like, you have to do a breathalyzer. And I said, I will not do the breathalyzer. And they said, well, we have determined you were drunk. They put me in handcuffs. I had never been in handcuffs before. They put the handcuffs on me. They put me in the back of the car. And I was just remember sitting there Oh, and the fire department came. They're like, hey, do you need any medical help? And I said no. And I remember thinking at the time, like, my neck's a little sore, but I figure I had whiplash. So I was like, whatever. So they put me in the cuffs. They put me in the back seat. And I remember thinking like, this is what the back of a cop car feels like. This is interesting. And I just kind of like I wasn't scared yet. I wasn't scared. I was just like, this is interesting. I've never been in this type of scenario before. It's so quiet. And they're driving. We go to one of the sheriff's stations. I blow. They take me, and I had been telling them like, yo, like, this is my first time. You know, can you guys explain to me the process? They're like, yeah, you're gonna go to Santa Rita. You have to go to the drunk tank. They're gonna keep you for 8 to 12 hours, and then they release you. And I was like, wow, 8 to 12 hours is a very long time. And they're all like, yeah. And so I was just having like small conversations with them, like, hey, you know, this is my first time, blah, blah, blah. Do you know where my car is going to go? And I was pretty, sober is the wrong word, but I was conscious of, like, I'm conscious at this point. Like, I'm talking, I'm having conversations, I'm responding. Like, they take me to the sheriff's station. They have me blowing the breathalyzer, and they took the handcuffs off me. They're like, hey, you've been cool so far. We're going to take the handcuffs off you. Like, don't make me regret it. And I was like, thank God, because handcuffs are not fun. Let me tell you, don't do it if you've never done it. If you have done it, though, like, don't do it again, please. They're not fun. And I blew into it. He didn't tell me what I blew. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if there's certain details of this that I should or shouldn't say, but they didn't tell me what I blew. And I was more like interested. Like, I wonder what I blew. I was drunk. I knew I was, but I was also kind of like, you know, those things where you punch it really hard and it tells you your score. I just kind of want to know what score I scored. But it was one of two things that I felt. He didn't tell me how high it was because it might have been really bad. But then I was like, you're a cop. Why wouldn't you just tell me what I blew? It was very like, I remember thinking like, this seems kind of iffy. Anyways, back in the cuffs. That wasn't fun. Back to the back of the car, and they're like, okay, we got to take you to Santa Rita. And they put the cuffs on hella tight this time. It was like cutting off the circulation to my hands because I was like this. And I'm a pretty big guy, so this is already like uncomfortable. I'm also not very limber, so this was uncomfortable. And it was around this time as we're driving to Santa Rita, I'm like, damn, my neck this really hurts. Like, my neck is killing me. And so like, I start like maneuvering a little bit because I want this to hurt less because I'm trapped like this, and I want my neck to hurt less because my neck hurts really bad. So I'm talking to them, and I'm like, you know, so what are we doing now? And they're like, oh, we're taking you to Santa Rita. They were very, you know, I respect police for what they do. It's a very difficult job. You know what I'm saying? You have to deal with belligerent people. You have to deal with drunk people. You have to see dead people. You have to, a lot. The people that I was dealing with, they treated me like a human because I treated them like a human. With that being said, I still think the whole organization needs a little bit of a shift because I think inherently like the cop system is a little off, and I think there should be more of a focus on like, you know, community stuff. But for what it was, the cops treated me with respect. I treated them with respect, and we just kept it, you know. We're driving to Santa Rita, and car in front of us is like swerving. And I'm like, this motherfucker's drunk too.
And fucking camera Chris.
I was like, what are the odds? Bloop, bloop. Pulls him over, and we stop on Redwood Road. And I just remember I'm sitting there, and they're like, hey, we think this dude was drunk. So they pull him over, and I'm just sitting there, and it's fucking like, my neck is hurting really bad at this point. And cuffs are still tight. It's like the circulation. I would maneuver, and the circulation on one, I would feel it, and then I'd hurt the other one. So I think it was just like awkwardly placed because I'd keep trying to maneuver, and it would like half and half or one and none and one and none. So I'm probably in the back of the cop car, I want to say for at least at this point an hour of them talking to the person they pulled over. He was with a chick, and he was getting upset, and they had to tow the car, but the chick was upset that they had to tow it because it's her car. And in my head, I was like, the dude's drunk, but then, you know, it's a guy who's going to drive. And then I was just sitting there, and then one of the lady cop came back in, and I said, hey, you guys think you could loosen, like, it's cool, I'm sitting here, I understand y'all got a job to do, but can you loosen the cuffs? Like, this shit is killing me. And she was like, nah, we can't loosen the cuffs. And I was like, I feel like, in my head, I feel like you could if you wanted to. This kind of sucks. And I just thought it was funny because her reasoning was like, oh, like when we're in the academy, like they put us in cuffs for like long periods of time. Like, it's not that bad. And I said, well, you know, that's your job and I'm a criminal. I'm pretty sure you guys like fucking put them motherfucking cuffs on me. Yeah. Whereas like for you, if you're in the school, it's probably not as tough. And, you know, I'm already a larger individual. So it was a dude and a chick. And the dude who had, you know, originally I was speaking to, he stayed there, and a younger cop came and said, I'm gonna take you to Santa Rita with the chick. I said, all right, cool, whatever. I'm just talking to him. Same thing. They're driving. How long is it? What are we on? 35 minutes? And we're driving. And we're driving. And she says, hey, we have to get him cleared at the hospital because he's saying his neck hurts. At this point, my neck really hurts. And so they go, okay. I think it's like 1 a.m. now, 2 a.m. Mind you, if I've talked about, I work at 3 a.m. So I worked that day at 3. I slept for a half hour. I went to my friend's party. I got pulled over at 12. I think I got pulled over at 12. So at this point, it's already 1 or 2 in the morning. So I'm already pushing like 24 hours basically straight. So they take me to the hospital. And it's funny because I still have all my shit in my pockets. Like, I still have my phone in my jacket pocket. I still got my wallet. I still got my keys. And I was thinking to myself, like, don't cops, aren't they supposed to take all this shit? But they didn't. So I'm just sitting there. So we have to get checked. They take the cuffs off me. And then they say again, like, you've been really cool so far. Like, we're going to take the cuffs off you. And they're like, you know, don't make me regret it. And I was like, if I would have ran, my ass would have ran already, brother. Like, I'm already at the hospital now. I'm chilling. So they took the cuffs off me. And like I was just chopping it up with the cop, and I was just asking him questions. And one of the things, a few things stuck out. One of the things was like, "Hey, you know, you've been really cool so far. We're gonna let them know at Santa Rita, like, you've been cool. Maybe they'll let you out in like this shit, you know, like 6 hours." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." I was like, 6 hours from 8 to 12, like, woohoo! Like, it's a lot, but at the same time, it's like fucking sitting 6 hours in a drunk tank it still sucks. So I must have been in the hospital for about an hour before any of the nurses came. It was Easter Sunday too, by the way. So there's nobody working that fucking weekend, bro. And they asked me, does anything hurt? And I said, well, I had a big ass, I don't know if anybody could see it on camera. I have a fucking scar on my forehead now. That's from, I don't know what it's from, but I didn't bash my head on, I don't think I did. I didn't bash my head because they said this is more like a puncture wound. So it was just bleeding. And, you know, I'm around cops, so I'm not going to keep wiping my forehead. So I would just, like, do, like, little gentle swipes. And they told me they put, like, a bunch of gunk in it. And I have a scar on my leg now from scratching it, I think, underneath my dashboard. And I didn't see that until the nurses were like, hey, does anything hurt? And I was like, my leg hurts. But I haven't, like, lifted up my pants leg. And I lifted my pants leg, it was hella bleeding. And I was like, that's probably why it hurts. And then I told them, like, my neck is sore. And they're all like, okay. So it's probably like 2:30. The guy who took me there is the original guy comes. And I guess it's like, since I was probably his pickup, he had to come like verify that, you know, everything's cool. And then the cop's leaving and he was like, hey, you know, this guy's actually pretty funny. And I was like, yo, I just wanted to point that out. I was getting a DUI and the cop still gave me Still funny.
I'm shaking my head left to right, listeners at home that can't see this.
I just want to point out.
Left to right. Jeez Louise.
Hey.
Can we get a public PSA real quick from you, Vic, about how drunk driving is not good, please?
Drunk driving's terrible. Don't do that shit. I learned my lesson. It took me I totaled my car. The car is completely worthless. You guys will find out shortly that I guess technically I broke my neck.
And then of course, I mean, you'll continue with your story in a little bit, Vic. I just gotta give this public
Please jump
PSA.
in, brother.
Of course, you guys, you know, drunk driving, like, you put everybody at risk, you know, other people.
Isn't that just
that's
yourself,
the main thing,
dude?
you know, that's the main thing. It's like, you know, you ain't got to do that, especially nowadays. They got Ubers and Lyfts and all that.
All kinds of shit. Yeah, don't do it, man. Don't do it. If you need, just DM me on it. I'll fucking go pick you up, man.
Well, not right now.
Yeah, I can't for about 2-3 more months.
Okay, back to your story. Okay, so hospital, they're looking at your leg.
Yeah, the
cops like, you're really cool.
Cops like, this dude's pretty funny. Like, he's cool. And so I just thought that was funny because I was like, yo, I'm dying. So
sorry.
So they fucking take me because my neck hurts. It's 3 a.m. and they go, do you have somebody to come pick you up right now? And I said, I think so. And I was gonna call one of my friends because he would have picked up, but he was also very intoxicated. So I said, strike one. No, I'm not calling him. And I said, Gabriel might pick up. So I said, I think my brother might pick me up. So they said, they say, call him up. I just want a side note. Earlier when I first got into the hospital, I looked at the cop and I was like, hey, I have my phone in my pocket. You mind if I text my brother and let him know what I'm doing? He just goes, I don't think you should do that. And I said, all right, fair enough. And I just kept it. I just sat there.
I don't think you should do that.
And it was just funny because it was like,
why did he say that?
I don't know. Like, he was thinking about it. Like, I think I had just given, like, obviously they didn't know I didn't pose a threat or anything, but so I called Gabriel. He's, for some reason, just dropping off his date at 3 a.m. And I said, Gabriel, I need you to come pick me up right now. And he was like, is this DUI related? And I said, yes. And he said, send me your location. Send him my location. And he said, I'll be here 20 minutes. I look at the cops and I said, my brother said he'll be here in 20 minutes. They're all like, can't come sooner? And I'm like, nope. Oh, okay. So they have like a little internal monologue, and I'm still sitting there like,
what the fuck they think I was at 3 a.m. like 5 minutes from the fucking hospital? It's a hospital, right?
Yeah, I'm at a hospital. I just want PSA. Like, my neck still hurts.
That's a new thing. We're gonna start doing PSA.
My neck still hurts. My thighs hurt hella fucking bad. Hella bad. I'm still bleeding. I still have 2 cuts on my leg. I'm bleeding my forehead. Everything hurts. And I'm just laying there. And I'm like, it's 3 a.m. This fucking sucks. And the cops go, yeah, we're going to release you to the hospital. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? They're all like, you don't have to go to Santa Rita. Like, we appreciate you waiting in the back of the cop car while we pulled the other guy over because, you know, that took a while. We appreciate you being so, like, friendly and, you know, forthcoming with us about everything that's been happening. We're going to release you to the hospital. So, you know, good luck. And I was like, that's it? They're like, yeah. And I was like, so I could leave when my brother gets here? They're like, yeah, basically. And then it left. And in my head, I was like, that's so nice of them. I must have been a nice guy. And in my head, I was like, those motherfuckers just didn't want to deal with me anymore because they're stuck there with me. I'm basically like their property until I go to jail. They were just like, fuck this dude. He's been cool.
They're like, let's go eat.
So Gabriel gets there. He calls me up. And they had just started rolling me to get a CAT scan because my neck injuries are automatic. They have to CAT scan you. Go to the CAT scan room. I look at the dude and I said, hey, how much do you think these CAT scans are going to cost me? He said, it probably takes 2 photos, probably like $15,000. And I go, huh. It rolled me into the room. That's exactly how I went down. I'm on the gurney. And I go, huh. And I'm still just laying there like in pain. And we get to the CAT scan table. And he looks at me. He's like, well, your neck hurts, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, you have to get it. Like, we have to get you on this table. And once again, I don't know. Some of you have never met me. I'm not just like, I'm tall. I'm 6'1", but I'm also like kind of big. I weigh like 240. It takes a lot of men to move me if I dead weight myself. So he's like, you're going to have to get on this to get a CAT scan. He said, can you do it? And I said, yup. I fucking grit my teeth and I crawl from the gurney to the CAT scan table. I just bite it and I crawl over and it fucking hurt so bad. But basically I was like, I ain't no bitch. You told me I ain't going to crawl it. I'm going to crawl it. And it was bad. It hurt so bad. And then they did the CAT scan. And then it was over, and they're like, well, you have to get back into the gurney. And I'm like, God damn it.
Our bad, actually, you have to go back.
Y'all motherfuckers, just do it in the gurney next time. And then
hey, you know what? The photos didn't work. Come back over here.
Actually, they took 2 sets of photos. I had to go back in there eventually. Okay. And I was like, I got it this time. And I like stood up and I was like, oh God. And I fucking laid in the thing. And then I'm laying there and they say, hey, you know, you have 2 fractured vertebrae in your neck. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? They're like, well, you have two broken bones in your neck. And I said, oh, well, my neck has been hurting. That makes sense now. And they say, we're not equipped to handle that. We have to take you to another hospital now. And I'm like, you have to what me in the what now? Because I was like, they're just going to put me in a fucking thing and they're going to send me on my way. Because, you know, I'm fucking...
What time is it at this point?
This point, I think it was like 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. Gabriel was sitting in the parking lot.
If you guys seen the movie Crash, listeners, or
I actually don't remember Crash either.
Okay, so in Crash, not the early 90s one with the aunt from Roseanne. This is the other Crash from the mid-2000s. So,
What is the midnight?
The other one, I can't get into it because this is a crazy. Okay, real quick. The one from the early 90s is the one where, like, I can't really remember, but something to do with cars. And it's like, you get the energy from crashes and something about, like, getting sexually charged. I'm not even lying. You can find clips of it online.
Did you click the wrong link one day on Google?
I think I searched about Crash from the 2000s and that one came up. And I watched a trailer on it and then I read about the synopsis. It was very weird. But, in the movie Crash,
that's a hell of a tangent, boys.
In the movie Crash, the 2001, they got like the different perspectives. All right, so while Vic's in his perspective in the hospital,
I didn't have my phone, so Gabriel got there at 3 in the morning. At this point, it's 4:30. I didn't have my phone because they're taking CAT scans.
Yeah, so I tried to get into the hospital where Vic's at, and then you know, this is still like COVID time and shit, especially with the hospital. You know, it's like fucking. They're in the black, code black. And then, you know, everything's like really fucking...
That sounds kind of cool.
Everything's like, you know, tents outside, and people, nurse out there lining up people and all that.
Damn, was that what it was?
It's not like a big line, you know, like 3 people or something.
Yeah.
And then, so she's like, oh, like, you can't come in. Like, no, there's no visitors at all. Like, you know. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I tried, like, you know, usually I try to go back and forth with people. And, you know, everyone has a price in a way. I'm not gonna give them money, but I mean, like, you know, everyone's human. You just talk to a person.
Selling point.
Yeah, you just talk to a person. Even if you hear no, sometimes you just keep talking.
Game, dude.
And then I could tell she's solid. She wasn't budging. And then I was like, all right. And then so I'm like, I don't know what's going on with Vic. I'm sure he's getting scans or I don't know. So I go back to the car and I'm just like, I'm tired at this point.
Yeah, he texted me. He said, I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm taking a nap. So I take a nap in the car.
I check my phone. And I'm like, Gabriel said he's going to take a nap. And I was just like, yo, they're doing my scans. It's about 5 in the morning now. Mind you, once again, since 3 o'clock the day before. So I'm already at 20. This is like my 26th hour of being awake. Like and I haven't slept because I'm fucking freaking out. Somebody tells you broke some vertebrae. So they're like, we have to transfer you to another hospital because we're not equipped to deal with what's wrong with you. And yo, that shit fucking broke my spirit, dude. Because like I said, I don't really spend no time in hospitals except for my eczema. I don't spend no time. You got eczema? Fucking Jess in that damn video. I don't spend a lot of time in hospitals. I've never broken a bone. Like I've never sprained. I mean, I sprained my ankles, but I've never broken a bone. And so for them to tell me they have to transfer me to hospitals hit me in like the core of my being. And mind you, also I had felt like I had accomplished stuff because I had like saved up money and I had like, you know, my credit score was looking right. I had saved up some money. I felt like I was on top of the world because I was like, yo, like there's not a lot of shit that's going to be coming up. I would almost, and then I get a DUI and crash my car. So the whole time I'm just going over that in my head. I'm going over the fact that, you know, I have a fucking neck brace now. And, they come in, they're like, oh, we have to paramedic you to another hospital. And I'm already freaking out because I've never been in a fucking ambulance either. And so they have to take my clothes off, and
saw your little pecker.
They saw my little Woody the Woodpecker, and they're like, and it's just like, you know, I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed about, but I've never been in this scenario, so like I'm just like sitting there, and like I want to help them, like take my shirt off, and they're all like, no, you can't move your neck, like you cannot fucking move your neck, and I'm just like trying to take my pants off, and I'm like, can I just, they're like, no, you can't, like, we got this. And I'm like, fuck, man. So I'm just laying there. I'm fucking laying there. And they're like, we're going to cut your shirt off. We have to cut your shirt off. And then this older dude was like, nah, I got this. Like, I do this all the time. We're going to save this shirt. I said, right on, man. I love this shirt. It's my Ghost Town Bruin shirt. So I was like, yo, you got to save this shirt, brother. I didn't say. He just fucking, how did he do it? He took it off and then he like maneuvered it around me. But once again, like hospitals wouldn't like your neck. They take like the utmost, like when they move you, they keep your neck completely straight. They have to have a nurse hold your head straight while they move your body because you can't, it could fuck you up. So the dude takes my shirt off. They take my pants off, put me in the fucking gown. I'm butt ass naked under this gown. I'm already embarrassed. And the fucking paramedics have to come and they have to move me to the gurney because the gurney has to take me to the fucking ambulance to take me to another hospital. And they're like, yeah, we're going to need like 4 or 5 guys. This is a big dude. We got to move him. And I was sitting there like, I'm not that big. Like, it doesn't take 5 men. Maybe like 3.
Fucking big.
This is the shit that's going through my mind.
Technician. No, I'm not.
It's just there's so much. But I was like, I'm not that, like, it's a little rude. You guys, so it's 4 dudes and they like heave ho like a motherfucker. And that already, I was like, I'm not that. You guys are dramatic or whatever. I could have did it. And it moved me over. Roll me out. My fucking neck hella hurts. Like any movement already hurts. But I'm like, ow, 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 ow. Put me in the ambulance. And at this point, they've asked. I was trying to lie to the hospital about why I was in there. Like I didn't want to tell them I got a DUI because I'm fucking once again, very embarrassed. Like even sharing this story is embarrassing. I'm going fast.
Don't take your time. You're good. You're good.
We're at 50 minutes. It was just. It was hard to share because it's just like it's so fucking embarrassing because it's once again I was endangering my life, I was endangering other people's lives. It just looks stupid. I felt so fucking stupid, and so I was trying to lie to them. And I had watched the thing on Instagram. It was like you ever seen that Asian? He's like an Asian doctor guy. And he just
I think so.
He's like, I don't like we're just nurses. Like we don't give a fuck. Like you need to tell us this shit because we need to save your life. So in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, I've been drinking. Like how much were you drinking? And I was like, I don't remember. Like I had this. From what I recollect, I had this much. Blah blah. So I was asked that about fucking 32 times. They kept asking me my age, what year I was born, and where I lived because they had to keep checking to see if I had a concussion. Because I had a big ass fucking hole in my head and I had fucking vertebrae damage and they kept poking my extremities. Like I wasn't numb anywhere.
What time was this now?
This is 5 a.m, 5:30.
Okay. Around that time.
Oh,
back into my story now. Crashing over to Gabe.
Fuck. This is good.
Camera follows outside the hospital now. It's fucking Gabe and his little car. I'm like, fuck. It's 5:30. I'm already like, I love my brother. I love Technician Vic. But I'm just like, I need to go home.
Yep.
He's in the bed. Whatever's going on, I can't come in. Like, I'm gonna go home and sleep. So that's what I do.
He went home and slept.
I went home and slept.
That's what happened.
And I also knew, eventually, our mom's gonna have to figure out. And listeners, if you don't know by now, or friends and family, or whoever's listening, if you don't know by now, our mom, she's
quite a handful.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to be there when Hurricane Mom's there. I'm just gonna wait till she comes and I'll go after that. Not crashing back in the Vic.
Whoa. So I actually saw Gabriel's text as they were loading me into the ambulance. He said, hey Vic, I'm gonna go home now and go to sleep. And I said, all right, Gabe, they're taking me to another hospital. And so go to the other hospital, transfer me to another fucking gurney. They put me in like this big ass room for like trauma patients because now I'm a trauma patient because I have 2 broken vertebrae in my neck. And I'm freaking out. Dude. I'm freaking out hardcore. I've never really like I'm not really afraid of anything. Like, I'm afraid of something happening to like Jess or Gabriel. It's different when it's yourself. And I've never like I'm not afraid of anything happening to me. Like most of the time I feel like I had a good run. That's it. You know what I mean? I rode the ride. But I felt like a fear deep down in my core. And I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen to me now. I had no idea what was going to happen. And it was pretty terrifying because I didn't know. And one doctor, I looked at him. He's like, you okay? And I almost started crying because I was like, what's going on? He's like, You have 2 fractured vertebrae. You know, they'll heal in a couple months. You'll be A-okay. And I said, for real? He said, yeah. And I said, oh, fuck, dude. Fuck. It was in such simple terms. And he was like the head of the doctors like that were there. He was like the head of the trauma unit. And he told me that. And I just felt like, okay, now I get to worry about regular stuff. Now I'm not going to die or anything. Now I get to worry about money and telling mom and fucking figuring out a DUI and the rest of, you know, whatever comes.
You don't worry about time.
It's a long ass story. You guys are getting all the details. Everybody else gets the fucking abridged version. And then
the director's cut.
This is the director's cut. Yeah. Crash. And then so I'm sitting there and they put me in like my own room. It's Easter Sunday, so there's no I don't know. Maybe regular people aren't fucking out drunk driving. So I'm in my own room and this nurse, she's just like, what happened? And I'm like, here we go again. You know, I was drunk, I was driving. She's like, you didn't hurt anybody? I said, nah. You know, nobody was hurt. The only person that was hurt was me and my motherfucking ego. Because I was just like, fuck, I have to keep telling this fucking story. And so I told her. And so I don't know if mom will ever hear this. I was not going to tell my mom. I was 100% going to fucking veto that and just avoid her till my neck healed. Or like make something up. Like I hurt myself at work or I slipped and I popped a disc. I was going to lie to her. Oh, I don't know. I didn't really think that far because like I didn't know what my car looked like either. Like I didn't know what my car. I thought maybe like it wasn't that bad. Like I came out alive with only like 2 fractured vertebrae. Like it couldn't have been that bad. It was bad. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking avoid mom. And there's a nurse in there and she was telling me like about her kids and I said, hey, if one of your kids had gone into something like this, would you want them to tell you? She said, yes. Told me that. I had 3% on my phone. Pull it out. Text mom. Mom, I got a DUI last night. I got into a car accident. I have 2 fractured vertebrae and I'm in the hospital. And I text her and my dad. And mom replies and goes, is this a joke, Victor? And I said, nope. It's not a joke. It's really happened to me. And she goes, when can I come see you? And I'm like, fuck, man. Because there's no, like, you know, a regular parent be like, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? She's just like, when can I come? And I was like, fuck, she's pissed. And I said, I think visiting hours are 10. I'm sure she was outside at 9 fucking 30 sharp, waiting for that motherfucking 10 o'clock to roll around. So I'm just laying there. At this point, it's about 7:30. So I've been up since 3 in the morning. Once again, 3 in the morning the day before. It's 7:30. I still have not slept because I would like you know that thing when you're like so tired, you like fall asleep like this? You keep falling asleep. I kept doing that, but I just couldn't sleep. Everything fucking sucked. And so, you know, whatever. I'm just laying there. I have to pee in a bottle because I had to pee. And there's like nurses around me and I had to ask her to leave the room because I get trigger shy.
Which is so funny within itself, I think. I think it's funny to get trigger shy.
I get trigger shy sometimes, dude.
I mean, I'm not knocking you for it. I just think it's funny. Like, you know.
I remember one of the nurses, I was like, hey, I gotta pee. And she goes, okay. She fucking whips my fucking gown off. And I'm like, pecker. What the fuck? She hands me the bottle. And I'm like, oh my God. And she like puts my little pecker in there. Because I can't move. I'm not supposed to move. And I'm just like, God, fuck. This is the worst part. Like, this is easily the worst part. And she just goes and sits down, starts like doing her. And I go like, I don't know how to ask you this.
I don't know how to ask you this.
But Katie, you think you could leave the room? She's like, oh my God, yeah, of course.
Now, just to pause the story, was this nurse more like us or more like Camera Chris?
She's more like you.
Okay.
She wasn't one of. She wasn't.
I'm just curious.
I would have did the accent if it was. The rest of the nurses though were like, Chris.
There's more. Okay,
a lot of the nurses.
Yeah.
That was a joke, guys. No racism in this house. And then she's like, do you want me to turn the light off? And I'm like, yes, please. And mind you, I had a DUI. I had fractured vertebrae. Everything hurt. And even in that moment, please. I could see that this is why I sometimes use comedy as like a deflecting point, But there are times like I just sat there and I thought about like how fucking funny this is. Like I had to ask a nurse to leave the room and turn the lights off, and I'm a 32-year-old man because I couldn't go pee-pee.
You had to face a lot of demons that day.
That was probably the biggest demon. DUI was fucking miniature in comparison
Peepee
to.
demon.
And I couldn't. There was like one other time before that I couldn't piss because I was too embarrassed. I just couldn't do it. Yeah, I was bursting at the seams. Mom shows up at 10. I'm still in like the trauma room.
I'm already exhaling because I'm like, oh.
Hurricane Mom.
Hurricane Mom.
What did you do? And I'm like, I was drunk. Where were you? I was at a friend's house. Who let you drive? I said, who gonna stop me? I'm a grown ass man. Ain't nobody gonna stop me if I want to drive. Hi, Victor. What's wrong? Like, why would you? And I'm just like, yo, like, I get it. Like, I get it. If I was a parent, I'd be mad too. But, like, this is already 10 in the morning, so I'm already 31 hours up straight. And, you know, all I'm thinking about is how much money I'm going to spend, what my car looks like, everything hurts, you know, what's actually wrong with me, all this other shit. And then Mom gets to, Hurricane Georgette comes in and is just, what's wrong with you? I can't believe you did that. What a bad choice. Why would you? And I'm just like, no shit, Mom. Like, I know that. Like, I know it was a bad choice. Trust me. Like you're seeing this from the outside. Can you imagine what it feels like from inside the house? Like, I fucking have to deal with all this shit. Like, I'm sorry that you have to watch it, but I'm the one who's like, just, anyways, finally sent me to my room.
Mom did.
Nah, fuck, man.
You think like, you know, when you're a little kid, go to your room. You got DUI.
I'm sorry. They took hella long to get me a room. Gabriel shows up around 11.
I already knew I had let Hurricane Georgette.
He was smart. I wish I would.
I mean, I don't want Vic. I'm happy for you that you did call our mom, but if each their own. But if I were in, I would be like, fuck that nurse. I ain't calling Mom.
I think it was just more of like a.
Nah, you did the right thing.
Yeah,
you did the right thing.
Dude, you got like I said, like, one of the things that also surprised me was like 80% of the nurses and doctors who found out that I had like a car accident in my neck, like I broke vertebrae. They were like, you broke 2 vertebrae. I said, yeah. They're like, you feel that? I said, yeah. You can feel this? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, nothing else is messed up. And I'm like, nah, it's fucking, dude, got cuts on my legs, but other than that, like, I'm cool. They're like, huh. So fucking physical therapy doctor came in and they're like, you need physical therapy? And I'm like, I don't know, everything, like, you know, everything works. And they're all like, well, I guess you don't need it. And then the fucking occupational therapy therapist came in and she was just showing me like tips and tricks on how to maneuver. Everything fucking sucked. That first week, fucking terrible.
Well,
everything.
Explain what you're looking like.
I look like shit.
Like you're in a neck brace.
I had a neck brace. I was butt ass naked under my gown.
You're swollen. I remember
my fucking
swollen
face
your
was swollen like a motherfucker.
You know, like dry blood on you, and
yeah, everything.
You could tell the stress and anxiety in your eyes, and
it's all sweaty. It was bad. I looked bad. I still got the photo on my phone though to remind me. It was a learning experience. Stayed the first night in the hospital. Gabe visited with Mom. You can only get 2 visitors. They hung out for a while. Gabriel hung out, and I still got to send to that nurse a bouquet of flowers because she was super cool. Made me feel very calm. Does she look like Chris or does she look like me?
Did she look like more like me?
She did. She looked a lot like Gabriel. Actually.
Not like a technician Vic or intern Jess. She looked more like a always Gabe self.
I like that. That's beautiful. That was very poetic.
Thank you.
She was super nice, super, and she like kept giving me like pep talks. She's like, it's okay, like it happens, you know, happens to the best of us. She was very, she was real. I think that was another thing. She didn't like a lot of the other nurses, were like try to like baby you, where like, oh, you're okay, and everything. And she was just real. She's like, hey, shit happens. Just got
to chime in too.
Yeah, please. You were there now.
This is where our Crash Stories intervened, and yeah, like Victor was saying, the nurse, she was like a 50-year-old lady. I think she shared us her age.
She was like
shared
50.
with us her age, like 50, 55 maybe. But she was like one of those type of women, which is like a really young spirit. And, you know, of course, COVID time, so people got masks on. You can't really see their whole face. I thought she was like, with her energy, like a 25, 30-year-old. You know what I'm saying? But then she's like sharing, talking to us. I'm sure talking to Vic more about her life and just being hella real, like trying to keep a positive energy with everything. And she was also talking, this was Kaiser, right? Or what
No,
was
it's Eden Medical in San Leandro.
She's just talking about like, you know, the difficulties of working there and things she liked and didn't like, and just being hella real and just very down to earth. I'm like, what a sweet person.
Yeah, she was just talking to us like regular. She was talking to me like I wasn't a fucking patient. She was talking to me like we were friends, or we were like we had already known
like
each
an
other.
equal. And
yeah, exactly.
Being real
yeah.
and
She didn't make me
honest
feel
and,
less than. Like, you know, some of the nurses would come in like, do you need anything? Are you okay? Is everything fine? I'm like, yeah. She would come in and be like, hey, what's up? Like, how's it going? Everything you good? Like, are you good? And I really appreciate that, because this is my first extensive stay at a hospital, and I was freaking out. And so you're supposed to leave at like 6. Fucking, she like,
oh, no. Keep going.
Is it good?
Yeah, you're good. Keep going.
She let Gabriel stay till like 6:45. Yeah, she was like, she said, oh, just pretend like you didn't hear him. Just pretend. Keep going, Vic. Okay. And
Keep talking. Don't worry about it.
I stayed up. I stayed that first night. I think I woke up. I finally went to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock Sunday night, since 3 a.m. the day before. So I'm pushing almost 40 something hours straight. Like, I had nodded off a few times, like while my mom and Gabriel were there, but I didn't want to sleep while they were there. I just been, you know, there's just so much going on in my head. All the things you said, all the things you said running through my head. And that's a nice thing that we did there. That's cool. And I woke up like every 3 hours because I had a neck injury. Anytime I had to use the bathroom, I had to talk to the fucking nurses. So,
oh yeah, and then our mom too. I love our mom, but
I forgot. You know, I think I just tuned that part out.
Our mom's energy is like, and I had to call her privately.
She's very overbearing. Just
like, you know, the type. I don't know if you got family like this, Chris, or intern Jeff. Like, you know, like kind of not. How do I say it? Not really telling the nurses what to do, but like being kind of too involved, where it's kind of like, yo, let them do their thing. They know what they're doing, but also like kind of like embarrassing Vic. You know, obviously he did something 0% cool, you know, but it's like it's what at this situation, what's there to gain? So
fuck,
she's like telling the nurses.
Every fucking
like,
nurse that walked in there was, my son was drunk driving, or he was drunk driving. You know what he was doing? He was,
or like saying like, you know, I think she said like a few times, like something along the lines of you like being an idiot.
He's
and
a
blah,
jackass.
Blah, blah. Yeah, jackass
and I'm like,
and all this. I'm
once
just like,
again, no shit. Like, thank you, mother. Thank you.
Yeah, so I had to call her and just like, yo, mom, like, what are you doing? Like, you
said,
like, what are you gaining from this? What's Victor gaining from this? You know, is this really helping the situation? If that's how you feel, it's understandable, but is it that time to share it? You know. I mean, we're at 1:08 right now.
I think I guess in the episode
should we save the rest for?
Yeah, we'll save it for the next episode. I guess that'll be good. We do like half and half.
Yes.
And so, long story short,
no, we don't have the long story short. We could just.
I guess. I mean, this is kind of the. Yeah, I guess. Well,
okay.
For
give them like a
yeah, for all intents and purposes.
End and where
I got out of the hospital the night. I was only there for 1 day. They told me that in about 12 weeks my neck would heal. So I came home and I had Jess and Gabe. They treated me like a real brother for the first time in their lives, because they're terrible to me.
Yeah. So for listeners, we'll end this episode here. We decided, you know, me and Vic talked about beforehand kind of what direction we wanted to go and with the episode and what we wanted to share. And so for episode 2, part 2.
Yeah.
I mean, there might even be a part 3.
Depends. Yeah.
Depends. But part 2, Vic's going to talk about him being at home in the cast and, you know, being away from work and what was going through his head with that and what was he feeling, how he felt about the DUI and the repercussions of that, and then also his life post being in the neck brace.
Post neck brace, post DUI,
and then,
post.
you know, we're gonna talk about a bit more of our upbringing. I'll probably do maybe a little bit more talking too, just to tie it. Not there's anything wrong with you.
No, I mean, yeah,
but I just
tie it.
mean I'm gonna be sharing as well. You know, I think where maybe we have some
Overlap.
bad shit, overlap shit that carries over from childhood that's not healthy. So we'll be talking about like anxiety and depression and things that have spilled over because of it into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, please stick around for that episode. If you know anybody that you think could benefit from Vic opening up and sharing something like this, or next week us diving deeper into it and talking about anxiety and depression, please share it with them.
Let them know. I know this goes without saying because I already said it, but if you don't feel embarrassed, this is a very embarrassing story to me. But when I tell people this, I've had other people open up that I had no idea had a similar experience. So don't be afraid to this is your story, man. As long as you change it, that's, I guess, kind of all that matters. You know, just don't be afraid to, I was going to say take the wheel. If you had a DUI, don't take the wheel. But don't be afraid to change your narrative, man. Change your narrative any chance you get. If you need to talk to somebody, Gabriel's available. I'm available. You know, you're not the only one out there going through this stuff, man.
Yeah, for real. That's well said. And again, we'll be back next week after you guys are hearing this. And please stick with us because we're going to be diving a little deeper.
Yeah, this gets more interesting.
And
Should we save the quote? Should we save the quote?
We have a quote for another episode.
Yeah, I guess. You can run it back.
So today we're going to end today's episode with a quote. For those that haven't ever listened before, in the show, we like to share quotes either by us or from listeners. Usually, I think it's always been hip hop quotes. Just something. I think today we won't break it down.
Yeah, I think it's a good quote just to end with because it's something prevalent
and something just to get your own brain kind of thinking. And today we're ending with a quote from Casual Hieroglyphics, Bay Area rap group, of course, from their 2003 track Make Your Move off their album Full Circle. But yeah, Casual says, I got a feeling a homie could make a killing if he packed up his bags and moved to New Zealand, New Guinea, New York. You need something new. So yeah, besides them fucking Newports. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to change your surroundings, man, and you need to change your headspace. And some people don't realize that until it's too late. It's never too late though. As we end, if you're a fan of the show, please help us out by simply clicking follow or subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel. On the fucking podcast, you can follow us or subscribe. Writing a comment on either one helps us out a lot. It takes less than 10 seconds. It'll help probably with the algorithm. You know, other people could read it. It would help us out. If you have a hip hop quote, please DM it to me and Gabriel.
Don't be afraid.
Because, me and Gabriel, we always just do this on our own. But if you have something maybe that's related to mental health, feel free to share it with us. We're going to be on this topic for at least another episode, if not two more. Gabe can be found on Instagram at always oneself. Again, that's always oneself on Instagram. You can find me, Lord Technician Vic. That's Lord Technician Vic, VIC. Show is edited by Component Sound Company. They provide recording, editing, mixing, and live sound services. Find them at componentsound.com. Everyone, thanks for listening, man.
We'll see you guys next week. We're back.